Shalom, Yasharala. Shalom, Yasharala. This your brother Dawada, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. I want to jump into this here article real quick, which was kind of caught my eye as far as this here title says, "Everyone on earth will die. Top AI researchers warn." All right, and, a couple scriptures coming to mind, but this is a narrative that a lot of people have when it comes to what they call the end of the world. All right, they have this here perception that matter of fact, let me see something real quick. All right, we'll pull it up here in a second. But nevertheless, people think of it being the end of the world, and matter of fact, we'll just grab it now. People think of when the world ends, when you talk about the end of the world and everything else like that, they have a perception of, that the whole planet is going to die off. All right, let me grab two precepts real quick before we get into this article. All right, Matthew 24, verse 3, right? So it says, Matthew 24 and verse 3, it says, "And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world?" Right? And so, most Christians, they read about this and they think of, that's just the end of the world. The Lord's going to come back. He's going to rapture up, basically hit the church. These are their terms. He's going to rapture up the church, and then everybody else on the planet Earth is going to die, and they're going to all burn in hell for the rest of eternity. And the planet is going to be empty after that. You're going to have, the church in heaven and the rest of the people in hell, and they're going to be burned to death. And this is the perception that, most people have, especially, the majority of these Christians have. All right. They think that, all these different things. But, the scriptures speak differently of these things, man. All right. The scriptures speak about us being basically reincarnated, man. And like, matter of fact, since we're right here, just real quick. Here's the point right here. Matthew chapter 19 and verse, we'll start at verse 27. The point is in 28. It says, "Then answered Peter and said unto him, Behold, we have forsaken all and have followed thee. What shall we have therefore?" Matter of fact, let me see something real quick. All right, Matthew 19 and 27. All right. It says, "Then answered Peter and said unto him, Behold, we have forsaken all and have followed thee. What shall we have therefore? And Yahushua said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel." Now, granted, we can't just read the context of what's going on. He said, look, in the regeneration, you 12 are going to sit on the thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Well, and they all wound up, the people he was speaking to, they all wound up dying at that point, not at that moment, but, how do I say, in that lifetime. They didn't live thousands and thousands of years afterwards. They wound up dying after their, their respective time. All right. Let me go into this here word real fast. Internet moving a little slow. We still dealing with some internet issues, so uploads are a little iffy here and there. But it says, for this here word regeneration, right? It says a new birth, reproduction, renewal, recreation, all right, regeneration, all right. Now, this A is talking about, you quote unquote being born again, right? Let's say, for instance, you were born in this here world being worldly, like all of us were, right? You were born in this here worldly world being worldly, right? And then you wake up to this here truth, and then you're quote unquote born again, right? That's what this here definition A is talking about. But of course, when we're reading in context, that's not what it's speaking about, because it says, hey, when the Son of Man shall sit in the thrones, you shall sit there as well too. All right, that's not saying when you being born again, because they was all technically born again at that point in time, right? But nevertheless, basically what this is talking about, it says a new birth, reproduction, renewal, recreation, or regeneration. So, and a newer term that we use nowadays is called what? Reincarnation. All right. So going into the fact of, people don't, the end of the world's coming, the church is going to be raptured into heaven. The rest of the earth is going to burn in hell. Nobody's going to be on planet earth. That's not biblical. All right. When people die, the scriptures speak about, hey, you go back up to the heavens or to the spirit, to he that created you. We can read, what is that? Ecclesiastes 12, I do believe. All right. Where they speak about, you're going to go back up to the spirit where, where the spirit came from. All right. But nevertheless, not getting too far into all that. Just wanted to touch on that real quick. And we read Matthew 24 and verse 3. How it says about the end of the world, right? Now let's go back into Second Ezra. Is it 6? Let's start at 7. Second Ezra 6 and 7. It says, Second Ezra 6 and 7. It says, then answered I and said, what shall be the part and asunder of times? What shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that follows? Now, this is the same question that's being asked in Matthew 24, but it's worded a little different. All right, Matthew 24, they say, when is the end of the world? Here it says, what shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that follows? So that gives you a little bit more understanding of exactly what they're speaking about. Right now, let's just jump down to the point in verse 9. It says, for Esau is the end of the world. Right. So, if this was written how most people take it as, when they speak of the end of the world, it says Esau is the end of the world. That should be a period right there, not a comma, right? If something is the end all be all, like, hey, that's the end of the movie, right? There shouldn't be anything after that, right? That's how the movie ends. Jack dies and that's the end. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, well, you didn't show about this and that. Like, well, you told me that was the end of the movie. I turned it off. You said this was the last boxing match, Mayweather and so forth is the end of the boxing pay-per-view, right? So after they fight is over with, what you think I'm finna do? I'm finna turn it off, right? But that's how most people think of when they ask about the end of the world. So it says, then answered I and said, what shall be the part and asunder of time? So when shall be the end of the first? All right, so that's how it's worded, and the beginning of it that follows. So jumping down to 9 again, it says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So it's basically talking about the end of a rulership, a time period, the end of Esau's rule, all right? The end of this here wicked rulership, right? That's the end of that world, all right? So this is the question about, when is the end of the world? So let's get into this here article real fast. Not going to spend too long on it, but, this is a question that's being posed. It says everyone on earth will die, top AI researchers warn. And this is, like I said, a narrative that most people have when they speak about the end of the world. It says humanity is unprepared to survive and encounter with a much smarter artificial intelligence, Eleazar Udowski says. Now, and this is another thing. This is what Esau's plan is to do, all right? Because, they'll tell you what their plan is, because ultimately, they want to get this artificial intelligence, like the scripture say, a gift destroyeth the heart. Most people are going to be like, oh, I can be smarter, faster, all these different things. Just look at how many people got smartphones. People clown you for having Android phones over iPhones, just because they feel like that it's a smarter device. It gives you more this or that, like, but people are just, how do I put it? They follow trends. They just jump on the bandwagon and things like that. So when they tell you, oh, you got some newer, faster technology, you can go do this and do that, everybody's going to be jumping and go and get that type of technology, man, just to be the first to have this and have that, man. So when they come out with this here MOTB fully implemented in the system, what do you think people are going to be doing, man? All right, they're going to be flocking to go and get it, man. All right, standing in long-ass lines to go get this here shit, man. All right, they're going to be like, oh, I'm going to be faster. I ain't going to have to die. I can live forever. I can program my life and erase all the trauma, the harsh. I can erase all that and only put good memories in my mind and only put all the right answers into myself. Like they got this new thing, the Chat GPT, right? Just imagine you have that where it's like you like in your mind, you ask yourself, now, how do I get this done? Or how do I do that? How do I make the most out of this? People nowadays just type, before we had Google and stuff like that, when you just wanted simple answers, now you have stuff like Chat GPT that'll sit there and tell you how to do certain things, man. I write papers for you and everything else like that. I was watching something and they was talking about the Chat GPT and they was referencing a South Park episode. I didn't see the episode, but obviously they showed a little portion there where the kids in school started using Chat GPT to write essays, and then the teacher, they was writing all these super long essays and everything else like that took forever to wind up reading. All right, so they had to be super intricate and everything else like that. They was writing multiple pages and everything, and these is like elementary school kids writing all these long ass essays and things like that. Now the teacher was overwhelmed by all these long ass essays, and what did the teacher wind up doing? getting Chat GPT to grade the papers. So at the end all be all, nobody was actually doing any work. You had the kids that was using Chat GPT to write the essays, and then you had the computer itself, or teacher using Chat GPT to grade the papers. So at the end all be all, nobody was really doing anything. The computers was taking over, right? So this is what Esau's plan is to do, man. All right, get everybody hooked into these things, and once they, the gift is sure at the heart. Once they get all, just like any and everything else, man, credit cards, all this other bullshit, man. All right, you start using all this, you have fun with it, you get the credit cards, you start spending and everything, but you don't read that fine print. As soon as you either miss a payment or you don't pay everything off in full, that interest rate on top of that shit, man, you'll wind up losing your mind. All right, because people will sit there and be like, damn, man, the interest is like X amount of dollars. I can't afford to pay this. But you didn't think about that when you were swiping that card. So the same thing here, man. People aren't thinking about the end product once they get all this here stuff, man. All right. But nevertheless, Esau has it up his sleeve to erase the spirit of the Lord. Because, hey, he has his seed out here that still, the elect still have the spirit of the Lord that's on them. Whereas the rest of these people are what? Caught up in the Esau's, mindset and life and everything else. They already over here worshiping the damn beast, man. All right. But look, one thing that he can't, one thing that Esau can't account for, more or less to say, is the spirit, man. All right, because, hey, he's trying to figure out how we standing in great boldness right now in the face of those that afflicted us and oppressed us, man. All right, he don't understand how the hell we woke up to all this here truth, man. He don't understand because he's spent so much time trying to keep us up out of this truth, but now all of a sudden we done woke up to it, and he's trying to figure out what the hell happened. All right, but let's continue on. It says, humanity is unprepared to survive an encounter with as a much smarter, intelligent, artificial intelligence, and that's true. All right. It says shutting down the development. Now, the part of that is being true is the fact that these people was dumb enough, right? Because they've been programmed to be dumb enough to accept any and everything that Esau gives to them. All right. But in reality, a natural mankind in their natural state, all right, wouldn't need all this stuff, because all this stuff is really mimicking what the human beings already do. All right. Everything that Esau's giving us, all right, all the foods and everything, the GMO foods, like, yo, they done took out the supplements and all the vitamins and everything else like that. That's why you go to the store and they sell vitamins, nutrients, and supplements and stuff like that, because they've taken it out of the food. There's no need to sell any of that stuff if you're just eating natural food the way it's supposed to be in the beginning. All right, you wouldn't need goddamn bottled water, purify all this extra type of water that they selling if they wouldn't have fucked up the water supply. So everything that he's giving you is, it's just a spinoff, man. You know how they would speak about the Antichrist or the anti-Hamashiach system, all right, because it's against the Lord. The Lord created everything. He created everything perfect and good. All right. But it says shutting down the development of advanced artificial intelligence systems around the globe and harshly punishing those violating the moratorium is the only way to save humanity from extinction, a high-profile AI researcher has warned. It says Eliezer Yudkowsky, a founder of the Machine Intelligence Research Institute, MIRI, has written an opinion piece for Time magazine on Wednesday explaining why he didn't sign a petition calling upon all AI labs to immediately pause for at least 6 months. The training of AI systems more powerful than basically Chat GPT, a multimodal large language model released by OpenAI earlier this month. All right, and so, hey, with the rise of all this stuff now, just think about this. If I know about ChatGPT, and you know about ChatGPT, and everybody else know about ChatGPT, imagine what you don't know about. This is what they've released to the public, saying that this is the first of its kind. But please, y'all don't even realize, y'all don't have quantum computers. Me, you, him, and her don't have quantum computers. So think about what the fuck they really got, man. All right, so hey, man, this is some and they got multi-processors. You think about the what you call the Chinese social credit system, man. And those cameras that's able to sit there and identify and pull up profiles on hundreds, if not thousands of people at a point in time, man. Think about the processing that has to, just for one person, for you to sit there and have to be caught up on facial recognition, and for them to pull up all the information on your name, your date of birth, your height, your credit score, and all these different things they can pull up on you. But just imagine they doing this to 100, if not 1,000 different people all at the same time. All right, that has to take immense computing capacity, man. All right. It says Yudkowsky argued that the letter signed by the likes of Elon Musk and Apple Steve Wozniak was asking too little to solve the problem posed by the rapid, uncontrolled development of AI. The most likely result of building a superhumanly smart AI under anything remotely like the current circumstances is that literally everyone on Earth will die, Yudkowsky wrote. And, this is, a twofold. Pose it as, oh, everybody will be too smart, but then again, the AI would take over because this is a simple equation, man. And I always say this, when people talk about when they get to that all loving, all this, all that, all peace, we want to, everybody, it sounds good on paper. We want to live in a peaceful world where there's no more violence, no more starvation, no more poverty. And we can I can come up with it easy. It's not a hard task to create an earth where there's no more violence, no more pain, no more suffering, no more starvation, no more poverty, no more sicknesses, and no more diseases. Everybody say that they want to live in a world just like that. But at what cost? You don't realize in order to get all that, you have to kill everybody on the planet Earth. You see what I'm saying? If everybody on the planet Earth was dead, there's nobody to starve. There's nobody to be poor. There's nobody to get sick. There's nobody to be violent. You see, but this is, you know what I'm saying? You plug this shit into the AI and they have to do a simple equation. If I can do that equation real quick, think about what the fuck they gonna do. All right, with your boy William G., the Microsoft dude had been talking about that carbon emissions and zero emissions and bringing that shit down to zero. All right, hey, a 0% carbon output, meaning that means your ass, you breathing, right? We got to get rid of that shit too. So this is, one way that this is all horrible, but Esau has his other way. We know what Esau's plan is. He's like, look, we're going to, first of all, plug everybody up with this here stuff. We'll find out who the Lord's people really are, who's the Israelites. We'll just get rid of them. All right, because we know that, they debate for the Lord coming back. If we get rid of them, he not going to, what I'm saying? Like, hey, if you get, number the children of Israel, all right, we could make them cease to exist. All right, so, Esau has it in his mind that basically just get rid of the children of Israel and he can live forever on this planet Earth because the Lord ain't going to come back for them. This is what he has in his mind. So, hey, and these are the likes of the tools that he would use to get all these things, man. All right, like the Revelation 13:16 speak about, he's going to cause all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive that mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, right? For the fact of the matter is, hey, showing who's going to serve him. All right, so, hey, everybody serving him is cool, but everybody that's not serving him, hey, y'all got to go. All right, so it says, surviving an encounter with a computer system that does not care for us, nor for sentient life in general, will require precision and preparation and new scientific insight that humanity lacks at the moment and is unlikely to obtain in the foreseeable future, he argued. And, they try to word this here stuff up like that as far as, well, the shit is way too smart for us and we don't quite know how to control it or how to act with it and everything else like that. But in reality, hey, man, if you got something that's finna kill your ass off, you don't need to have it, man. It's as simple as, you have some people like the likes of Mike Tyson. Now, we know Mike Tyson was crazy as hell, but that's a goddamn shame. Straight up abomination over here. Anyway, the likes of your boy Mike Tyson, right? Now, Mike Tyson, we all know Mike Tyson was a little crazy, but, it's you got some other crazy folks, but this is somebody that we just all know. But the fact of the matter that you want to sit here and have keep pet tigers and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Tigers and lions and shit, knowing good and damn well that these shits can eat your ass up, and you just want to go be willy-nilly and sleep around these shits. Like, come on, bro. Let's be wise about the shit that you're doing before you get ate up. It's the same thing, they even, these top people, they warn about this here stuff. What's his name? Peter Thiel, I think his name is. The dude from Palantir, all right, and creating those D-Wave computers and stuff like that. All right, but nevertheless, man, all right, this is not a very hard concept to understand what the hell is going to happen here. All right. Let me find out where we're at. It says, a sufficient intelligent AI won't stay confined to computers for long, Yodoski warned. He explained that the fact that it is already possible to email DNA strings to laboratories to produce proteins will likely allow AI to build artificial life forms or bootstraps straight from post-biological molecular manufacturing to get out into the world. Basically saying that the AI you can email a damn DNA strand, all right, and then, they got the code, they can sit there and recreate it. If they can recreate it, they can make a sentient being, going back into the age-old concept of cloning human beings. But in this sense, you can look up, what is it, the Agenda 2045 or 2035 or something like that, where they tell you about, the path of AI and everything else like that, and these, how they call them, artificial bodies. They got a different term for it, but it's like nanobodies or something like that, man. All right, they're not really trying to give you a fleshly body. See, they telling you about old-ass technology, but they got the shit already going forth for these so-called robotic bodies, just like in this here article that we're reading about, right? They showed the little Terminator thing at the top. See? But nevertheless, because with that, hey, they can program the sentient AI mind. And just like what was that movie, Avengers with Ultron, right? You like, well, it's not the body that homeboy got that you should be fearing. It's the fact that he can put, once that AI got into the computer system and got on the internet, it can affect any and every. Just like what was that other show, Transformers and stuff. It's like, man, anything electronic can be inhabited by these quote unquote, we gonna use the term spirits, right? You know, they jump inside you, they can inhabit any of these bodies, man. All right, and just like, you know, spirits can, all right, you know, Esau's got his own creation with these AI, man. All right, his left hand side witchcraft. All right, it says according to where were we? Yep, according to the researchers, an indefinite and worldwide moratorium on new major AI training runs have to be introduced immediately. There can be no exceptions, including governments or militaries, he stressed. International deals could be signed to place a ceiling on how much computing power anyone may use in training such systems. If intelligence says that a country outside the agreement is building GPUs, graphic processing units, all right, clusters, be less scared. Give me 1 second. It says, be less scared of shooting conflicts between nations than the moratorium being violated. It says, be willing to destroy rogue data centers by airstrikes, he wrote. And really, you know, that's, you know, the so-called next level of this here warfare going to be, man. All right. It says the threat from artificial intelligence is so great that it should be made explicit in international diplomacy that preventing AI extinction scenarios is considered a priority above all preventing a full nuclear exchange, he added. Now, and this is what they're saying, that this is one of the biggest threats, all right? But we understand that how this is all going to go and how it all plays out. But ultimately, you know, Esau is planning this to fight against the Lord, all right? Because like in the scripture, they say they was afraid but durst fight. You know, you got that scene in Independence Day where they come in contact with the UFO for the first time, and they all afraid and everything, and then they all led to the charge by Will Smith and everything. But hey, in reality, you know, they're gonna have this AI, this artificial intelligence, and with that, man, hey, you know, you can pretty much tell it where to go. It doesn't have a so-called feeling or emotions. It don't get scared. It don't make moral decisions. Oh, these are children. We ain't gonna do this. All right, they have these things programmed to do whatever it is gonna do, into those set parameters. All right. Let me find. Matter of fact, let me make this here point real fast. In Isaiah 45, I think it is. We'll go through here in where's it? Verse 18. Yep. Give me a second here. So going into here, you know, again speaking on, you know, the perception of how you know, the earth is going to be destroyed and everybody's going to die off and everything else like that. Again, that's not scriptural. All right. Well, let's just read. It says Isaiah 45 and 18. It says, "For thus saith the Lord that created the heavens." It says, "The Most High Himself that formed the earth and has made it." All right. He has established it and created it not in vain. All right. He formed it to be inhabited. I am Yahweh, and there is none else. So, hey, you know, speaking on that, you know, the Lord didn't make it in vain for it to just be inhabited for a short amount of time, everybody to so-called die off, and then just the planet just to be sitting there floating on its own, you know, and you know, nobody else to the so-called to be living on it, you know, like you see some of these other planets to not be inhabited or nothing else like that. I'm like, well, you know, there's no life on Mars, there's no life out here, and this and that. Hey, you know, none of these things, there's nothing that is made without a purpose. Everything has a purpose that was created. All right. You may not understand and know the purpose of why it was created, but everything has a purpose and is created for a certain reason. All right. But getting still, you know, people have this here mindset that, oh man, you know, the earth, you know, everybody gonna die on the earth. We're gonna have a nuclear exchange, and humanity gonna kill off everybody, or a virus gonna kill off everybody, and the earth is just gonna be sitting here because the earth is a living organism. It's gonna just sit there and replenish itself. You know, you give it enough time, it'll just grow back. All right, it'll be a inhabitable place once again. But then what? No more human beings on earth. All right, but this is, what Esau's plan is going to be. Ultimately, you got the International Space Station going to flee from the Lord, destroy the earth, and then come back to the earth and inhabit it himself, and then repopulate with just Edomites. It's not going to work out, man. All right, the Most High has your whole plan, and he's going to wind up taking it out. All right. Matter of fact, I don't know if we read this already, but we'll grab it again. No, we read Matthew 24 and 3. Should have read this earlier. Matthew 24 and 21. I pointed to 22. It says, For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to the same time, nor ever shall be. And that makes me think of the book of Genesis 6. I write about how how's it worded? Let me get it real quick. 6 and 8, I think it is. No. So it's 6 and 5, and then also there's another verse. All right, jump down to 12. All right. So Genesis 6 and 5 says, it says, And the Most High saw that the wickedness of man was great on the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his hearts was only evil continually. All right, and this is what happened. Look at the devices that we have nowadays, man. The Instagrams, the Facebooks, like 2 Timothy speak about. They're gonna be lovers of themselves. Except for the the hopeful elect, the men of the Lord that's out there in the highways and the byways. Everybody else is really using this here internet, for wickedness, man. YouTube and all these different things. What kind of information are they sharing, man? It's all for wickedness. Now you do have some people that are so-called whistleblowers, blowing the whistle on certain things like that, which is feeding the prophets, news articles and things like that in one sense. Then you do have some people that are doing like small little things, that's not necessarily wicked, on a deep level, but they may be on YouTube showing you how to cook some shit and everything else like that. But hey, at a time like this, what should you be informing people about? All right, but yet and still, beyond all of that, everything else on the on the YouTube, the Instagram, the Facebooks, and all of them different sites like that, it ain't nothing but wickedness going out, man. All right, it says go back up to 5. And the Most High saw the wickedness of man, that it was great, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. Jump down to verse 11. The earth was also corrupt before the Most High, and the earth was filled with violence. And the Most High looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt. For all flesh had corrupted his ways upon the earth. And just think about this. And you got a computer program where no matter, people think this artificial intelligence is something actually living and everything else like that. But in reality, it's a computer program. It's got parameters. All right. If you don't introduce certain parameters to it, it's not going to understand those things, man. All right. So like let's just say hypothetically, you have the little home devices, your smart devices and whatever, and you have to ask it a certain question. Hey, so and so, can you do this and can you do that? What's the this and that? And they responded to you. They sound so smart and so intelligent. They know all this here crazy stuff. But then all of a sudden, if they didn't put this parameter in there, right? Let's say they didn't put this parameter in. Let's say hypothetically you go in and you start speaking a different language like Spanish, and they'd be like, oh, I can't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. All right. And all they have to do is put in that parameter now to speak Spanish, and now it automatically understands. So see, these things actually have parameters on there. So saying that to say this, yeah, you might be all smart and all these different things like that, but then guess what? They don't add in the parameters of what? Faith. You ain't even gonna need faith at that point in time, because you be dependent on this here system. It's gonna always be right there for you, right? And this is how people become dependent on these things, man. All right, just like how people don't really have to have faith when it comes to back in the olden days, people would how they call it, farm and stuff like that, and they had to have faith that the Lord's gonna bring the rains and everything else like that. But nowadays, people like, man, what do I need to have faith for? I just go to the grocery store, and if that grocery store out, I'm gonna go to the next grocery store, and if that grocery store out, I'm gonna just order off of Amazon, right? So they always have a dependence on those things. That's what they've become accustomed to. So just imagine you getting this here AI, all right? And again, going into those parameters being set in the AI, we all know Esau gonna put the parameters in there, like, look, there ain't no God, there ain't no faith, ain't none of this, ain't none of that. This is just what it is, all right? And then guess what, man? Esau will have his way of having the Lord's name put out of the earth permanently. But the Most High always has he the one who programmed Esau. So I mean, it ain't no escaping none of that, all right? But let's go back to this Matthew 24 and 21. All right, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should be no flesh saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Right. And so, hey, the elect is going to be the one that's not going to take that chip. not going to get integrated into this here system like that, man. All right, and so hey, the Lord is going to come back and save them because hey, man, everybody going to get this here upgrade or whatever, and we can read about the side effects of the upgrade in Revelation 14, man. All right, things ain't gonna go as how people think that it's gonna go, man. All right, it's gonna be bad, bad, bad for them. Just like how all these people keep warning, and all the TV shows and the movies come out with the rise of the robots. The robots take mankind, create this here system, and then the robotic system take over mankind and kill them all off and enslave them. Hey, the Most High is not gonna allow that to happen. Well, I mean, he gonna wind up killing off them wicked folks, but for the elect's sake, man, the days is gonna be short, and the prophecy, the end is gonna come before all of that, man. All right. Let me go from there to Job 5 because they speak about that as well. Is it 5 and 12? I think it is. Yep. Job 5 and 12, it says, he disappointed the device of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. Matter of fact, let me read this over here. All right, Job 5 and 12 again. I want to read this in NLT. All right, Job 5 and 12 and 13. He frustrates the plans of the schemers so that the works of their hands will not succeed. All right, so hey, you know, like in the article they saying, hey, if y'all find out that they doing this, y'all should just bomb their little data centers and stuff. Stop that. Send them back to the Stone Ages. They forget the computer code and everything else like that, man. All right, because some of this here technology is just too far out, man. It's just way too far out. And once they start putting this inside of people, it's too far gone, man. All right, and like, you know, like I said, you watch some of these here movies and things like that. What always happens? They create one, right? How you had in the Avengers, you had what was it, Jarvis at first. Then they plugged Jarvis into the damn mainframe, and you created Ultron. All right, and then Ultron, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, you can destroy the body, but this nigga already plugged into the internet, so he could transform into being in a toaster, this cell phone, that cell phone. He all over the place, man. All right, you can't quite find out where he at. All right, so it says he frustrates the plans of the schemers, so that the work of their hands will not succeed. It says he traps the wise in their own cleverness, so that their cunning schemes are thwarted. All right, and so hey, man, basically, destroying their plans, man. All right, so that they cannot succeed in what they want to do. All right, and now let's go back to Job chapter 20. We'll close it out here. All right, because ultimately the Most High is going to send Yahushua to step in and stop Esau from, fulfilling his whole plan. All right, Job 20 and 22 says, "And the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits, and every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. When he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall rain it upon him." Salah. When he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and he shall rain it upon him while he is eating. So yet at the point in time where Esau is about to fill his belly, fulfill his new world order system, and fulfill all his evil plans on the earth, the Most High is going to rain it down upon him, which is what? Verse 24, he shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. So as in the article, they said, hey, y'all should bomb these little data centers and these computer monitor centers and stuff like that to stop all this here stuff. Ultimately, this is what the Most High plan is going to be, to interrupt Esau's plans, man. All right, so that Esau can't fulfill his plans of chipping up everybody and everything else like that, man. This is how it all ends, man. All right. So I wanted to jump into that there article because, like I said, it was kind of, caught my eye talking about how the end of the world, we was all going to die. The whole planet was going to die. I'm like, well, no, that's a misnomer. The earth was not created in vain. It was created to be inhabited. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and close out with that. Lord willing, the elect was edified with this here lesson. Until next time, I'm going to say, call halal, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rekakwadash, double honor to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that taught us this truth and I rule well. And salutation, much love for you. I can pushing his truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.